All right, gang, so we're going to wrap this up. This is part 4 of how to have your best year ever. And in the first part, we talked about how to identify where you're at right now by looking at metrics, both in a snapshot and looking at your long-term trends over the last 12 months. In the second part, we took a look at how to write out exactly what success looks like for you over your next 12 months in order for you to say, hey, that was my best year ever, or this was my best year ever. In the last episode, what we did is we talked about how you can shortcut by finding mentors, and I shared with you how to do that the right way. And the final thing that we're going to do here in this episode is we're going to take what you learned last time. You know, when you found a mentor, you deconstructed what they did. By the way, this is exactly what I do in the Killer Marketing System. I just share with other owners, other private practice owners, hey, this is exactly what we're doing here at Madden PT. This is how we run a workshop. This is how we work with physicians, even though we're getting direct access referrals now. That doesn't take a lot of time and money. This is how we're getting past patients to return for additional care and getting referrals from those past patients, and I just simply share it with other owners. And now what we have happening, which is really cool, and it makes me love doing this, is we have other owners that will take this from all over the US, Australia, Malaysia, Canada, Mexico, now in the UK and Israel as well. They'll take it and they'll modify it, and they'll help other owners with it as well. So it's really cool what's happening, and we've created an awesome culture and community where owners are able to share in a positive environment, and they all have that theory of abundance, that abundance mentality. But anyhow, we talked about how to deconstruct, pull out those successful actions, and then how to look for habits in successful people. And I want to give you a little 4-step process that you can do, or that you can at least write down and think about over the next 12 months. And this is how to make the journey enjoyable. So number 1 is do it. So once you identify those habits, and let's say you talk with 3 practice owners who just doubled their business in the last 12 months, and you say, hey, what did you do? And owner number one says, I started getting up at 5:30 in the morning and reading for 30 minutes. And then you talk with owner number 2. And by the way, this is hypothetical, although it's eerily accurate when you literally do the exercise and talk with owners. You talk with owner number 2. Hey, what did you change over the last year? Well, rather than getting up at 7, I started getting up at 6 o'clock and going for a quick run and then reading every morning. Awesome. Then you talk to owner number 3. What did you do different? Well, every night before I went to bed, I set an hour of study time where I can learn about marketing and business. Wow, so what's the common theme there? What are we deconstructing? What are we taking from that? If I study and I value that I'm my own best investment, then I'm going to do better. So what do I want to do? Well, I actually want to do that. So you're going to have to sit down and be a problem solver and figure out what that looks like for you. Now, you might be saying things like, I know some owners will say, well, I'm too busy. I have no time to study. Well, frankly, that's bullshit. So you're going to have to come up with some sort of solution so you're actually doing it, because all these other people that are successful are telling you this is the most important thing. So you might have some inefficiencies in your day-to-day stuff where you're going to have to eliminate that time and reconstruct your life so that you're able to do the things that successful practice owners are doing. Pretty simple. So do it, make it happen. The second thing you want to look for is you want to be efficient. And by the way, there is a learning process. And the 4-step learning process that I've learned and that I share with other PTs is basically we all start at unconscious incompetence. We don't even know what we don't know. So if you think about when you started, and by the way, I share this in the Killer Marketing Secrets book, but if you think about when you started private practice PT, you probably wanted to change the world through your physical therapy practice. You know, most of us have that jaded experience. We want to prove the world wrong, do things our way, and we go out there and we think everything's going to be easy. The second I get my LLC established and I have my name chosen, then people are just going to flock to see me for my high quality care. And then we get knocked on our tail. And that is what happens with unconscious incompetence. We don't even know what we don't know yet. We don't know that we don't know how to market. We don't know that we don't know how to bill or ask for a referral, etc. And then the next level up is conscious incompetence, where now we know, like after we get knocked on our tail and we're up till 4 in the morning because we're not going to make payroll the next day, and we live through that, then we now know that we don't know. So that's the next level of learning. The level above that, level number 3, is where we have conscious competence. So we have to think about it, but we can do it. So it's kind of like if you go to a weekend Con Ed seminar and you learn a new, like let's say first rib mobilization or thoracic treatment technique, cervicothoracic treatment technique, lumbar technique, whatever it is, a physical therapy treatment technique that is new to you, and you go back on Monday and you see the patient in front of you and they have back pain, and you're like, wow, they fit the clinical predictor rules. I'm supposed to do this, but I have to think my way through it. Whereas, like, you probably have some tools in your toolbox, in your skills, in your physical therapy school set, where you absolutely crush it, and you see somebody with first rib issue, and with your eyes closed or with a blindfold, you could do it with no problem at all. And that 4th level is called unconscious competence, where you don't even have to think about it and you can just do it. So we all have that across the board in varying levels within our personal lives, within our family lives, and within our business lives as well. So we're looking for efficiencies. The one thing that has been impressed upon me, the very first thing that we teach in Killer Marketing is something called the green ink letter. Now, where did I get that from? I got it from talking with my 3 mentors that I shared with you already in a previous episode, and 2 of them said, hey, I do this, and this has helped me more than anything else in my business life. Well, rather than worry about blogging or what my website looks like or something else, like the very first thing that I make sure is done of primary importance is that I'm having personal communication with people that are important to my business. So referral sources and past patients. Really, really simple. And I use the green ink letter. It's the first system that we teach in Killer Marketing. So we're looking for efficiencies. We're looking for things that are top priority, that we're doing more of those things that are top priority and less of those things that aren't really top priority and are wasting our time. Third thing is you want to track it. So remember back in the first part of the series we talked about no metrics, no discussion. It's the same exact thing. So you want to get a pulse. So every time you get a bump up, so let's say you go out, you learn how to do workshops. All of a sudden you hit a highest ever in new patients in a week. Where did that happen from? Well, it came from the workshop. And okay, so you're tracking that. You see the causality, how you can have better control over your new patient flow. And so what are you going to do more of? Hopefully workshops. Believe it or not, most of us, for whatever dumb reason it is, and I've done this myself, so I'm not actually, I'll reflect upon this, that I've done this repeatedly. I'll do a successful action, and because I'm not really tracking it, I'll let it drop out right away and I'll stop doing that. So if you have metrics in front of you, if you're taking a daily, weekly look at where you're at metrically, you're going to keep doing more and more successful actions and let those that aren't successful go away and stop focusing on that. And then the other thing is realize it's a journey. So the next 12 months is going to be a journey. Enjoy the journey. Keep it in front of you exactly where you've gone, exactly what we went over in episode 2 from chapter 2 in the Killer Marketing Secrets book, what your private practice looks like. Keep that in front of you, look at it, read over it every day, but enjoy the journey. If you don't hit it, like, let's say you have a crazy growth goal and you want to grow your private practice 50% by opening up another clinic. And you don't achieve that, but you only hit 25% growth. Well, guess what? That's still amazing growth. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. You can always extend out. There's a really important question to ask, and I want to leave you with this. Most of us, we're hesitant to write down what we really want our life to look like, because there's a lot of quotes about this, but most of us are really afraid of success. Now, why does that happen? I don't know. But we kind of view this as like success is something that happens to me or it doesn't. It's not in my control. And I've learned over time that's not really true. And as we go back and we dissect out the habits of really successful people, they come to a point where they realize that they're in control. Yes, they're lucky in some aspects or they're blessed in some aspects, but they're willing to take control for what they can actually have power, have control over. Now, having said that, rather than say, hey, I committed to this, I wrote out what I want the next 12 months to look like, what my best year ever looks like, and I wrote that down, is this going to happen or not? That's what most of us ask, and it's really it's, at least when I did it, I just considered it immature once I realized a better question. And the better question is this: what do I need to do to have my best year ever? Think through that, write it down, and it's amazing what will happen in your private practice life. I hope you absolutely loved this 4-part series on having your best year ever, and I hope this helps you a lot. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear how this has affected you, and I'm going to look forward to hearing your results over the next 12 months. It's an honor and privilege to present this to you. Thanks again.